about a project you plan to finish in a week. You tell yourself, I'll spend the first day outlining what needs to be done, and I'll also gather any necessary resources. Then ideas will find form. I will focus on the main body of the work and polish everything up by the weekend. Easy, right? Everything looks neat, clear, and manageable in your mind. But then reality shows up. The first couple of days finish just trying to gather resources and clarify details. Moreover, unexpected tasks arise. Emails to answer, phone calls to return, meetings that take longer than planned, technical issues that slow things down. Perhaps you even had a minor health issue. Anyway, before you know it, the week is nearly over and you are only halfway done. Half of the work is still left on your to-do list. Does this situation sound familiar to you? This familiar gap between our expectations and reality is what psychologists call the planning fallacy. It's a systematic tendency to underestimate how long tasks will take, even when experience tells us otherwise. Planning fallacy shows up everywhere. A foreman plans to finish the tiling in one day, but delays, broken tiles, and uneven floors cause it to take a week. A baker expects to finish a wedding cake in 2 days. However, the design is more detailed than expected. The 2-day plan turns into 3 stressful days. Students expect to finish homework sooner than they do. Professionals think report will take less time. Teams underestimate the duration and other details of projects. As you can see, planning fallacy can be observed in a wide range of situations, from everyday tasks to large-scale projects. So, why do we still continue to fall for it? The answer may be that we picture the best-case version of how things will go. Smooth, efficient, perfectly timed. We tend to think optimistically. But reality comes with bottlenecks, delays, and distractions we never planned for. Even when we know projects often take longer, our brains keep telling us this time it will go as planned. In our minds, we create detailed scenarios, stories of how our plans will progress, portraying ourselves working or studying efficiently without major obstacles. Even though these imagined stories feel realistic, they often reflect an idealized version of real life. One key reason for planning fallacy is that we rely too heavily on inside view. That means when we plan, we focus on the details of the current situation, the specific steps we'll take or the tools we'll use. We assume that as long as we follow the plan, everything will go as expected. However, we ignore the outside view, how similar projects have gone in the past. In other words, we neglect distributional data, the actual results from comparable situations. The outside view reminds us that most projects encounter unexpected problems, but our inside view filters these out. Focusing on best-case scenarios, ignoring the possibility of minor disruptions, and failing to integrate past experiences can be expressed as reasons why even experienced professionals sometimes fall into the planning fallacy. Now we are aware of this concept. Well, is there a way to reduce the effect of the planning fallacy? Let's see what can we do to mitigate it. If we review the literature, we can see that one way might be to step back and try to see the bigger picture rather than looking at our plans only from the inside. I mean a shift from the inside view to the outside view. A method for improving project forecasts by learning from similar past projects is called reference class forecasting. It involves identifying a relevant group of comparable projects, establishing a probability distribution of outcomes from that class, and comparing the current project to this distribution. We can present this method through an example. Suppose a carpenter is asked to build a custom dining table. Before providing a price and delivery estimate, the carpenter reviews similar past projects, considering their costs, the time required to complete them, and typical delivery timelines. By analyzing these previous projects, the carpenter can make a more accurate and realistic prediction. Sometimes, somewhere between life's unpredictability and our optimism, we find ourselves caught in the planning fallacy. Now at least we know one reason why things often don't go as we expect. Most of the time, we imagine a smooth journey on a sunny day, focusing on our route and what to pack in our bags. But storms can appear, delays happen, and the path changes before we even notice. Maybe that's just part of being human, always imagining the best, even when reality has its own plan. That was a quick dive into the planning fallacy, what it is, why it happens, and whether there is any way to outsmart it. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with this and how you navigated it.